Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine on this, what's today? Tuesday morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it, guys. Let's get straight into it. Hopefully it's a calmer day today. Hopefully it's a lot more relaxed. Oh, we have kind of recovered from the elements of what happened on Sunday, of course. But you know what? We'd have to delve into what we have to delve into in regards to Manchester United. And there's a lot of Man United news coming out again, as there is every single day. Of course, guys, we got news about Ruben Amorim's escape plan. One of Manchester United's highest prospects in regards to scouting. It has a 70 million price tag. Guys, we're going to get straight into that. But before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you are new, please don't forget to smash a like on the video as well, guys. Very, very important. Get it going. Let's get it on and let's keep going, guys. Absolutely. Now, Ruben Amorim has been offered an escape route for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim could be up. Basically, has had a nightmare start at Manchester United. As we know, it hasn't gone according to plan so far. But he has become the lead candidate to take over the Benfica position. João Noronha Lopez has made no secret of his plans to take Amorim back to Benfica if he sacks Rui Costa in regards to Rui Costa's next month's elections, and is currently ahead of the polls. Basically, Ruben Amorim is the top of the list, guys. Lopez was at the Etihad to witness United's 3-0 defeat to Manchester City on Sunday, when he was pictured with his vice president, Nuno Gomes, one of Amorim's best friends, who played alongside him at Benfica and Portugal, and General Director Pedro Ferreira. So wheels are moving in regards to that. There is some noise in regards to this, in regards to Ruben Amorim going to Benfica, guys. What do you make of that? You know, at the end of the day, look, whatever happens in regards to, obviously, we know that football is a results game. We know that, you have to get results, otherwise you're going to get sacked. That's just football. At the end of the day, we can't hide from that. We know about the birds and the bees and stuff like that, don't we? So if Ruben Amorim does get removed, Benfica, for him, a chance to rebuild his career, fantastic for him. But at the moment, he is our manager. And one thing we have to do as Manchester United fans is we have to back this manager. I don't care what you want. I don't care what you want in the future. I don't care. All I want is a successful Man United. And right now, to be a successful Man United, the best thing for us to do is support the manager. Stop going on and on about this, tactics this, system this, because that's irrelevant. And support him until he's no longer our manager. Because I find it weird that we would put extra pressure on the manager and expect better results at the same time. We need to understand that we need to back this manager. And when he's no longer our manager, we back the new manager. That's how we do it, guys. That's how it should be. It's all about that at the end of the day. But obviously, of course, other clubs are going to be vying for Ruben Amorim's signature. They're going to want Ruben Amorim as their manager. Of course, Ruben Amorim's a great manager. Subject to all the belief out there, all the content creators out there talking their smack. He is a good manager. And it is not down to Ruben Amorim. It's down to us. Because I bring it to you. The Europa League team that played against Tottenham, only 2 of those players are no longer with us. Onana and Højlund, who started the Europa League final. And how is this a rebuild? How is it a rebuild? If we only 2 of the players that probably one of the worst games I've ever seen Man United play, considering the context, considering the game it was and the importance of the game, how comes 9 of those players are still at Manchester United, who started that Europa League final? And this is what we're talking about, and how can we, yes, it should be better. I know it should be better. I'm not completely dismissing it. But we also have to look at the context, and not just things that we see with our own eyes, but also things that may be happening behind the scenes. In context, just like Ruben Amorim said, what's going on behind the scenes? You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Much more has happened. And this we have to understand. We have to take that comment there. We have to take that comment really seriously when Ruben Amorim says that. Because when Ruben Amorim says something like that, I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is going on behind the scenes? We all know that the culture and the mentality at this football club is on the floor at the moment. We know that. So what has been said behind the scenes? From what we see from the outside, it's an absolute mess. Can you imagine what's going on in the inside? Now, we will lose Ruben Amorim. If Ruben Amorim continues to get bad results, Ruben Amorim will be sacked. And a lot of people will be happy about that. I think it won't be good for Man United. I think we will end up going backwards again, and we have to go forward again. Backwards and then forwards, taking 3 steps forward, 4 steps back. I believe that if he does go, then you know what? Good luck to him and best of luck to him. And another one bites the dust in regards to Man United. Another manager bites the dust. Another manager no longer at this football club because of whatever reason. You know, another highly rated guy coming to the football club that Real Madrid, even Liverpool wanted. You know, another one bites the dust. Now, I would urge you to think about this, guys. I would urge you to think about this, and I want you to be real with yourself and allow the cloud of negativity in regards to the sinister nature of yourself in regards to how you feel about Ruben Amorim. And think about this for a second. Would Ruben Amorim be in the same position at Liverpool? You know as well as I do, no. You know as well as I do, Liverpool will still win the league. You know it. I know it. You know as well as I do, if he went to Real Madrid, he'll win the league. It's Man United at the problem. It's these players at the problem. We got Ruben Amorim, right, who is the manager. And he's got his captain speaking after the game, throwing players under the bus, right? Talking about the midfield, 4 against 2. All that rubbish, right? Not taking accountability. We need to delete that. Completely delete. We should have took the money for Bruno. We should have bloody took the money for Bruno. We'd probably be in a better position right now if we took the money for Bruno. Honestly. But unless we remove this poison, unless we remove this nature, this culture at this football club, no matter what manager's going to walk into this football club, you can have whoever you want. We're going to have the same problem, guys. Jose Mourinho, one of the most disciplined managers of all time, had the same problem. Right? Had the same problem. The problem is what these managers try to do. And let me tell you what these managers tried to do. These managers tried to fix the problem in regards to keeping the players there. I know that over the time, Jose Mourinho wanted to get rid of Martial and he wanted to get rid of Luke Shaw, but he didn't get rid of them. He kept them. He kept them. And he didn't make moves that are going to, you know what, be risky. Ruben Amorim's made moves. Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, you know, these are moves here that he's made, you know, to try and fix the culture at this football club. This is why we're going to have to take a hit to go up. But people don't want to take the hit. And I've mentioned many, many times about people who just want to be Ruben Amorim out because of the results. Ruben Amorim, get him out of my club. And a lot of them were nappy dwellers, diaper dwellers when I was a kid watching Man United. You know, a lot of them were, you know, a spud in what ball, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. You know, and what I would say is that, you know, I don't mind now. I'm at the point now where sack him. And we'll be here in 6 months. Let's do that. Because we're not Chelsea. We don't do that. It's never worked for us over the years, which is why we went 26 years without a title. You know, it's not going to work for us. You know, it's not going to work for us like it does for Man City, it does for Chelsea. It's not what we are. Big up everyone in the stream. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, my people. I hope you're good, my friend. Big up everyone, of course. Big up Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal. Here we go again. Why these players shut up, work hard, and win games instead of moaning? Because this is what they do. And just like my guy, Mark Goldbridge said, right? Just like my guy, Mark Goldbridge said, right? Ragnick, no, was it? Louis van Gaal, the tactics are the problem. Solskjaer, the tactics are the problem. It's a schoolboy tactics. Ralf Ragnick, he's a professor. His tactics are boring, right? Ten Hag, we're going home late in training. The tactics are the problem, right? Now it's Ruben Amorim, the same thing. The same goddamn thing. The same thing. We're having the same nonsense every single day. Now, someone said in my comments, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. Well, there you go. That's insanity because we're believing the players every single time the going gets tough, right? Every single time the going gets tough. And I know football. I played football at a decent level. I know people who play football. I know ex-pros. And the tactics, the systems don't matter. It's what you put into the game. It's the implementation. It's the mistakes. Paul Scholes said it. Paul Scholes said it's the mistakes that we keep making. We keep making errors. That is the problem. It has nothing to do with system. He said it himself. But every single time we get the same murmurings. And who's it coming from? Who's been there? Who's the overriding fact? What's the overriding fact about all this? Who's been there from the beginning? Who's there? Luke Shaw? Is Luke Shaw been speaking? I've always believed Luke Shaw is a bit of a snake. I've always believed that. So we need to get rid of all these players. And what he should have done, he should have said, right, these players have been there since Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Right? So these players need to be out of the football club. They need to leave. I don't want these players at the football club anymore. They need to leave. They're a problem. And that is what it should be. Because again, we're getting the same deja vu, round in a circle. We're not happy with the tactics. I actually wrote a tweet before Eric Ten Hag got sacked. And I said the same thing. Around we go. The tactics are a problem. We can't adjust. Maybe it's you. Maybe if you look in the mirror, maybe it's you. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe the players are the problem. That is what it is. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you need to take accountability for who you are. Rather than to start blaming the manager again, blaming the tactics again, blaming the system again, going home in the dark, blah, blah, blah. Same old nonsense. The same thing again and again and again. We will lose Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim can go to Benfica, and I wish him the best of luck. I really do. And I hope he smashes it, because he will. Right? And at the end of the day, we will be there. Eventually, we'll get what everyone wants. We might as well just get bloody Gareth Southgate, because at the end of the day, you know what? We don't have no patience anyway. We don't have any patience anyway. Right? We don't have any guile about us, any loyalty about us that we can say, you know what? We're going to hold it out and we're going to stick to this. And obviously, we know we have an expiry date. We know that this can't go on. I know that. But flipping hell, guys. 4 games. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm talking about. But I'm at the point now, guys. I'm at the point where I'm like, whatever. Don't tell me, whatever. Let's get a new manager, new system, new tactics, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want. We can have what you want, guys. It's up to you now, because I am taking a back seat. And I'm going to watch it like with my popcorn, like this, just like I did when Eric Ten Hag was sacked, when everyone was calling him a board fraud. And I said at that time that it's not going to fix the problem, because the problem is upstairs. Right? I sat with people on various channels and other shows and stuff like that, and none of them mentioned the Glazers. None of them mentioned the Glazers, And at the end of the day, I'm the only one saying the problem upstairs, the Glazers, the Glazers, the Glazers. And it's me who's talking about it, Ephraim. Sal, how they bring a manager with his style of player, not backing with them? Absolutely. Sal, if they sack him, nobody would trust Ineos. This is what we're talking about. Will he be sacked or will he resign? Big up, Omega. How you doing, my friend? Players are voting against Amorim. It's not new. It's a sign we're having a bad season already. It's a sign of the same things. It's a sign. They blame the manager again. The same thing over and over again. If this went to court of law, Ogmigi, if this went to the court of law, the players would be found guilty. Not the managers, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not Ten Hag, not Ruben Amorim. The players will be found guilty, because the evidence right there is being put before them is overwhelming against them, because it's the same excuses. Why can't you do that tactic? But you're talking about the 4-3-3. Why didn't you play the 4-3-3 well against Eric Ten Hag? With Eric Ten Hag, why didn't you do that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And don't give me this. He came second place in the COVID season. Don't tell me anything about that nonsense. The blame goes to the owners for not backing a manager. Toxic players still stuck with the club. Why can't we do the obvious already? Thank you so much, Ogmigi. Intelligent comment, man. Intelligent comment. And this is what we're talking about. The blame should go to the owners. I said it was a 5 out of 10 window. I did say it was a 5 out of 10 window. And people going, oh, that's too low. Why is it a 5 out of 10? It's at least a 7. It's at least a 7. We fixed the attack, but nothing else. We got a young goalkeeper in there that might not be ready. And that's all we've done. What is a rebuild here when 9 of the 11 players that played in the Europa League final are still at our football club? 9. Right? The ones who started the Europa League final. Only Højlund on loan and Onana on loan are not with us anymore. Big up, Atara. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, my friend. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. Amorim has a lot of excuses for Atara. Amorim has a lot of excuses. You need to listen. APN, big up, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I saw the Burnley game against Liverpool. Their mentality compared and intensity is what our team misses. The Burnley team that we absolutely smashed them for, it should have been 3 or 4-0 at half time. You know, at the end of the day, we played better against Burnley than what Liverpool played against Burnley. You know, and this is what we're talking about. These Man United players, right? They're so unpredictable. They switch it on when they can't switch it on. If these tactics don't work, how comes they can dominate a game against Arsenal? They could dominate a game against Burnley. How comes they could dominate the game against Fulham? But it's the tactics, it's the system, you know? I was saying, but he needs to stop playing players out of position. But what do you expect him to do? He's got one choice. Mainu, that's it. What do you expect him to do? The only problem in that team is Bruno. Now, I believe Bruno will be removed. Then none of us have any more excuses. You know what I mean? Bruno will be removed. He should be removed for what he said against Ruben, what he said against Lenny Yoro. Bruno Fernandes should be out of the team. Mscape. Beside the ownership and the players, the problem are with the fans. We don't know what we want. It's high time we start taking the players, demanding them to perform. Great comment. Why are we not holding those players accountable? Why are we believing their bull crap as usual? Why? Because we're gassed? Because we're player FC? Because we love this player? We love that man? Oh, Ahmad, you know what I mean? He's the same as me. Oh, let me take a picture of Ahmad. You know what I mean? People are prats, mate. Concentrate on your flipping cholesterol. That's what you should do. And then talk about, you know what I mean, the bloody football team that we're supposed to love. Not these players who flattered to deceive. You know what I mean? Every single time, these players are flattered to deceive. Year in, year out, the same. We get the same, and we're getting the same excuses. And now, guys, before you get it twisted, I'm not exempting Ruben Amorim from anything. I'm Manchester United. More than all of those content creators that you see of Man United fans, I'm Manchester United through and through. 40 flipping years of my life, right? I don't care about Ruben Amorim. I don't care if, you know, at the end of the day, if he doesn't get results and he doesn't change it up, he's on his own. At the end of the day, I'm telling you, a multitude of problems at this football club. A multitude of problems at this football club that we're not noticing here. Now we're getting the same old murmurs in the media about the tactics. This is something that we've already done. We've already been through this. We've seen this story before. Groundhog Day. This is what it is. You know? Mark Gemini, after the weekend and emotions that came with it, I look at it clearly. We know the manager needs time, but unable to back to back wins together. But this has been going on for a long time. And when you're trying to change a culture at a football club, this is going to happen, Gemini. It's not just what happens on the pitch. We got players there, and I'm a bit concerned when people don't mention the players here, because you're just mentioning, you know, the same old manager's the problem. Manager's the problem. Manager, get him out of my club. Manager's the problem. Manager's the problem. Manager's the problem. Predictable, guys. Predictable. You know what I mean? There's a predictability about this that is so boring. It's unbelievable, because we've been here before, and I said the same under Ten Hag. I say the same again. Yeah, Ruben Amorim he made mistakes at the weekend. The overriding mistake was playing Bruno in midfield. I've said that at the beginning of the game. I said that before the game. I said that after the game. Bruno Fernandes should be number 10. If Bruno Fernandes doesn't want to play number 10, he should be on the bench. It shouldn't be just, you know what I mean? He should play given. Now, after what Bruno Fernandes did, I remember when Roy Keane came out and said that, you know, about the players and stuff, and he got sacked. I want to see what happens with Roy. I want to see what happens with Bruno Fernandes. Tyborg, this is bad, sir. Seems like these rumors about Amorim leaving are more than realistic. We have to have a couple more years of suffering with a new manager. Tyborg, I mean, these people don't understand what we're doing. They don't understand what it takes to build an empire. They don't understand what it takes to build something great, that you're going to have to suffer. It's going to get bad. You know, it's going to get bad before we get good. But you know what? People ain't got the patience. So let's do this again. We'll go round and round. And then, as we spoke about yesterday, Tyborg, who's an overwhelming candidate to become the Manchester United manager right now? Who do you look at right now and think, wow, what you want, Areola? Areola's another hipster manager, and it will be thrown under the bus as quickly as you can imagine. People will be making those Spider-Man references very, very quick, guys, when he loses a couple of games. And this is what we're talking about. There's no Ancelottis out there. There's no Jurgen Klopps out there. There's no Pep Guardiola's out there. There's no one that is a guarantee. But let's do it. Let's do it. You know, let Ruben Amorim go to Benfica. Let him go to Benfica and let him see what he does over there. And then we'll bring in another manager and we'll have a little bounce, maybe, right? And then after that, it will start crumbling down again and again and again. We're back to neutral settings and we'll be back here in a year's time, you know? Imsky, true, Sal, that Amorim had gone to Liverpool or Madrid 3-3, 4-3, he would still win. The problem is the club support, the fans included. Absolutely, Imsky. They know as well as I do. They would need to admit it, guys. They need to admit it. Absolutely. Mark, I think he will drop Bruno. I think he will drop Bruno. I think he's going to drop Bruno. And it's a godsend. He needs to drop in. We should have accepted 100 million for Bruno. Get rid of Bruno. We've said it. Many of us said it, that Bruno should never be at this football club. He should be at 100 million, 31 years old. He's past it. We should have sold him. We should have started building for the future. And maybe we won't be in this position. Good morning, Randall. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're good. Morning, sir. I find Amorim so pig-headed. That's why a lot of supporters want him to be sacked. I find him a nice person. I know him. I met him once. So I find him a good person. He's not pig-headed. At the end of the day, every manager's going to have their stubbornness. Even Alex Ferguson had his stubbornness. The pig-headed ones are the fans. The pig-headed ones who sit there like this. Get back my club, man. Get back my club, man. That is the problem with the fans. That's the fans. You know what I mean? Gathered in one little room, sweating like anything. Too many man, in one little room, gathered like that, talking about, sacking this, that. Won't mention the owners, won't mention the Glazers, won't mention Ineos, won't mention nothing like that because it might harm their, opportunities. You know what I mean? And this is what we're talking about, Top button, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. The public fans and haters devour Man United content. The more fake, the better, apparently. There's too many fakes out there, top button. There's far too many fakes out there. Far too much reactions out there. We got a reactionary mentality, a short-term mentality, but it is what it is. And right now, I'm at the point where I think I don't care. I don't care. Sack him. I want Man United to do well. Sack him. After Chelsea, you lose it to Chelsea game. All right. Cut losses. Get rid of him. Go on. Do it. Let's get someone else in. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? Because you know what? Everyone believes they're right at the end of the day. Everyone thinks they're right. People don't understand that there's a multitude of problems at this football club. The multitude of problems at this football club are far greater than a lot of people even know. I've took a delve into the football club. I know people in the football club. I know what's going on in the football club. And I know that just a small sample of what is happening. I can only imagine what's going on behind the scenes. Like I said, like someone said about, sacking the manager is like moving the chairs around in the Titanic. You're still going to have chaos. If you put a brand new sofa in a derelict building, it's still going to look like a shithole, isn't it? And this is what we're talking about here. And until we realize this, we're never going to do anything. Yes, Ruben Amorim has made mistakes. Hell yeah. And his biggest mistake, and what now, the biggest problem that Ruben Amorim has, and he's dying by it, is Bruno Fernandes. He's dying by it right now. He's dying on it. He's dying on that sword. And that's up to him. Bruno, we all know Bruno needs him on number 10. No shit, Sherlock. We know that, But what's going on with Kobe Mainoo? What's going on with him? The issue of dropping Bruno is no sense. These players are professionals. They need to perform irrespective of what you're told to play. Maguire played, striking, and scored. Yeah. I come from a different generation, Emiski. I remember when John O'Shea played in midfield. I remember when Raphael and Fabio played left and right midfield and we still beat Arsenal 2-0. I remember when we had to play Fletcher and Carrick in defence and we still beat Wolfsburg away 3-1. In the Champions League. I remember these times. And this is the thing. We moan about everything. You got Bruno Fernandes moaning. Maybe, Bruno, do your job. You're the captain of the ship, guys. You're the captain, and this ship is sinking. As far as I'm aware, if the ship is sinking, the captain gets the blame, doesn't it? If you get a ship, right, and you sail the Titanic, whatever you sail, not the Titanic, but any ship, right? You sail any ship, and the same sailor's there, and it keeps sinking. You're not going to keep blaming the ship, are you? You're not going to blame the passengers, are you? You're going to blame the captain. And the captain so far, all right, so far, he's given away the ball against, I think he gave away the corner against Arsenal, if I'm not correct. All right, he missed the penalty against Fulham because he got barged in the back by the referee accidentally. He gave away the ball against the last game against Man City for the first goal. Didn't track his man, should I say. Didn't track his man. Right? And he's got the audacity to come out and say, he's the problem. And putting a young player like Lenny Euro, thrown under the bus. So Lenny Euro, to be honest with you guys, has been our best player. He's been our best player, you know? Luke Shaw has more Sky supporters than matches. Luke Shaw is a good talker. Luke Shaw is a manipulative guy. Luke Shaw would push your nan down the stairs. That's Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, right, could pretend everything's rosy. I'm back the manager, one of the best managers I've ever worked with. We can win the league with this team and blah, blah, blah. But behind in his head, he's going, F this manager. I'm going to get him sad. I don't like the way we're playing, blah, blah, blah. Did that guy, Luke Shaw, look like a guy that wanted to play for this badge, you know, against Man City when he didn't pick up? Phil Foden's about 5'5", you know? Good morning, Grayo. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up, my friend. What has happened to our beautiful team? It's heartbreaking to see what we have become. It's broken until the Glazers and Ineos are gone and nothing whatsoever will change. So sad, brother. It is sad, brother. And you know, because me and you have seen it and done it. We've seen everything. We won it all. And we know the levels of this football club. And when I call out something, right? When I call out something, it's coming from a place of experience. It's coming from a place of experience. It's not coming because I was born in 2004 and I started supporting the football club back then, because I wasn't. I wish I was born in 2004, but I was not. I started supporting this club in the late 80s, guys. Right? And I understand context and what happens in football teams. And some people with a low IQ would say, stop comparing him to Alex Ferguson. This is not comparing. This is a situation that we're in right now. Situations don't change. Loyalty doesn't change. Patience doesn't change. All right? It doesn't change. You know what? To be a genius, you have to have the opportunity to become a genius. Alex Ferguson had the opportunity to become a genius. He was given 5 years at this football club, you know, before we actually won something. And I was at that game in 1990 in the FA Cup final. You have to have an opportunity to become a genius. You know, if every time that you plant the seed in the pot, if the pot starts growing and then you cut it off, how are you supposed to grow? How are you supposed to grow? You know? Tyborg, to sack Amorim now is insane. Give him 2 more seasons, no matter what the results, and judge him after that. 2 years of suffering worth it to improve after that. Tyborg, maybe if we'd done this a couple of years ago, we might be all right now, isn't it? You know, and this is what we're talking about, you know, and I spot on. You know, yes, we can't come 15th again. I know that. I'm under no illusions. Right? But what we have to understand is that we're seeing the same rumors coming out of Man United that happened a couple of years ago, that happened last year, that happened under Erik ten Hag, that happened on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We need to understand this, guys. They're the same rumors. Don't be silly. You know what I mean? These are the same rumors that are coming out again. Now, we're just going to blame it on the manager. You know, we're just going to blame it on the manager, and that's all we're going to do. You know, at the end of the day. We can't sack him because with the next manager will have all the players he doesn't want and we'll start over again. So we have to stick with that and pray that at the end of January we have 2 more players to help him. Gemini, my guy. You know, what I would say is that I gave this window a 5 out of 10 because we didn't fix the problems at the football club. You know, we came 15th last year, right? Whatever you want to say about it, we came 15th. The reason we came 15th, guys, and let me tell you the reason we came 15th, because every single one of those players believed that they were going to win the Europa League. They were talking about they're going to win the Europa League. We're going to win the Europa League. F the league. We're going to win the Europa League. That's why we came 15th, because they gave up in the league. Not Ruben Amorim. They did. They gave up in the league. You know, it's all right. We got the Europa League to fall back on. And when I was watching the build up to the Europa League final, and I was seeing all these positive noises, all this talk about we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we believe in ourselves, believe in that, and then they put on a performance like that. It was unacceptable. Freeman, who has over 20. Well, Mark, he's going to have an opportunity, bruv. He's going to have an opportunity. This is his opportunity. I believe he'll play. I believe he'll play next game. He's going to have it, and no excuses. Numpty Hannibal gave Liverpool a penalty. And Man United dominated Burnley. Dominated Burnley. You know, it should have been 4-0 in the first half, you know. Zizou, Amorim said he won't change. He said that suffering more than the players and fans. He is. Because changing it won't fix it, Zizou. He also said that we ain't got the players. He also said that we haven't got the players. You know, until we got the players, why should he change it? Because at the end of the day, you could play your 4-3-3. We all remember when we played 4-3-3, we were Bagel FC. You remember that? You know, we could play the 4-2-3-1. It's going to be the same thing whilst you still got the same mentalities at this football club. You know, and this is what we're talking about. You know, of course, what's the point of changing your philosophy when it's not going to work, even if you change it? These players are looking for an escape route. They're looking for a blame. They're looking for a scapegoat. That's what they do. And this is what they do all the time. Remember the PE teacher? Do you remember the schoolboy teacher thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you remember the professor thing with Ragnick? Do you remember the thing going home late at night? You remember all that? You remember Jose Mourinho, the players dancing after they just lost the game 3-0? You remember that? You know, this is what we're talking. This is the culture that I've been talking about for years now. You know? And I promised myself, because I promised myself back then when I was against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I wasn't agreeing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And the reason I didn't agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer apologized to Marcus Rashford. And, you know, when he should never apologize to a player, when he was speaking the truth. You know, and that's what upset me about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I found Ole Gunnar Solskjaer weak. We gained a culture of, right, we're only going to play counter-attacking football. That's what we're going to play. You know? And that is not something that's going to bring you long-term success. That's something that ultimately you're going to fall flat on your face. Because one day someone's just going to sit back and say, okay, come at us. We're not coming forward. Come at us. You know? Kenny, Ahmad needs to go for a real absolute waste of space. Ahmad is the most overrated and criticized player at Man United. He's so... You know, people ignore him like he's, you know, like people don't want to talk about him. Oh, they're so quick to talk about Garnacho, isn't they? They're so quick to talk about Garnacho. Garnacho's better than Ahmad. Garnacho's stats are better than Ahmad. Garnacho's goals are better than Ahmad. His assists are better than Ahmad. Now, I like Ahmad. Ahmad's a great guy. He's a brother. You know, at the end of the day, I want Ahmad to succeed. You know, but he's not. He's not succeeding. He's back and forth, predictable, cut in, shoot, cut in, shoot, cut in, shoot. That's the problem, you know? Glorified Lennon, you said it. Kenny, we know, innit? I've seen a lot of players in my time. I wouldn't even class Ahmad as even close to Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott is a much better player than Ahmad. Now, what levels are we here? Was Theo Walcott ever good enough to play for Man United? Absolutely not. Was Aaron Lennon ever good enough to play for Man United? Absolutely not. Now, we have to look at this in context. I come from Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Lee Sharp, Andre Kanchelskis, Cristiano Ronaldo, peak. Of course, I'm going to call out players if I believe they're not good enough. You know, but we have to. We can criticize Ruben Amorim. Everyone has the right to criticize Ruben Amorim. And I'm not sitting here, and I'll repeat, I'm not sitting here saying Ruben Amorim is exempt from criticism and he should never be sacked. That's not what I'm saying, and people need to stop cherry picking. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that we need to look at the magnitude of problems. I don't sit on there, and those who join me for the watch-alongs know, when I see that lineup, they know I go in on Ruben Amorim. They know I tell him, this is the wrong lineup, he shouldn't be doing this. But I also understand that team is good enough, right? And I also know when a team gives up. I also know when a team makes mistakes. You know, I also know that as well. Grayo, 89 likes, 16. What the hell, guys? Come on, guys. Smash a like on the video, guys. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Come on, everyone in the chat, please smash the like and subscribe button and show you appreciate yourself. Thank you so much, guys. Have you smashed the like? 114 in the house, guys. Please smash the like. It helps the video, the algorithms. Guys, we come on this show every single morning and we are passionate. I'm passionate and I want Man United to do well. That's what I want. I want Man United to do well. That is what it's all about for me. Absolutely. What happened to Bayern there? Maybe that was a fluke, Roy. Maybe that was a fluke. What can I say? Maybe that one game was a fluke. The great players. Let me tell you something, Roy, about great players, right? The great similarity between all the great players that have ever played the game. What is their biggest similarity? Consistently 8 out of 10 plus. Consistently 8 out of 10. Even when they have one of their poorer games, they're still about 8 out of 10. That's what great players do. Every player in the world that has ever played the game, even the likes of Ian Dowie, Peter Crouch, and players like that, have great games, have man of the match displays. It just went his way. But maybe then, right? Maybe then, Roy, maybe Bayern there, they didn't know Bayern there's game. Maybe they didn't analyze Bayern there enough, because Bayern there obviously hadn't played much football for Manchester United. I think he had one appearance before that against Newport County. And maybe they didn't study his game, but maybe they studied his game before the Arsenal game, at Old Trafford this season. I said, right, he's weak on corners. Let's swing that ball in the box, even though it was a foul. Absolutely. I think pressure gets a lot to people. I think the pressure gets a lot to people. I think the pressure gets a lot to a lot of players at Man United. I really do. Mark, I'm not hammering him out, but he needs to drop the captain. I agree. The captain can't dictate where he wants to play for the captain to throw a player. Mark, and this is where me and you agree, right? And I've got a lot of respect for you, Mark. You've been here a long time. I agree with that. What Bruno Fernandes did after that game, right, he has to be dropped. Now, if Bruno Fernandes plays in that number 8 position against Chelsea on Saturday, I'm going to lose my rag. I'm going to lose my rag, and I'm going to say, look, know what? He's got it. He's on his own. He's on his own. Because you've learned, you've done this. You've done it in the Europa League final, and you've done it now all season. You played Bruno Fernandes at number 8, and each one of us Man United fans have said he can't play the number 8 position. He imbalances the team. He's not disciplined, and we said it 1,000 times over. Now if he plays against Chelsea on Saturday and in that number 8 position, I'd be supporting my football club. But if he loses that game, I'm sorry. I can't deal with it, because at the end of the day, not only has he been crying and moaning to the media and not speaking to his teammates behind the scenes with respect as a captain, right? Not only is he doing that, speaking that, he's bringing down young players like Lenny Yoro, right? Which is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And what that means, if Ruben Amorim doesn't drop him, that means he's invincible. That means he can't do nothing wrong. He stays in the team. And that is where I will have the problem. That is where we will clash with Ruben Amorim. Because I know, Bruno, ultimately, not even number 10, guys. Not even number 10. Bruno should be dropped from the lineup. That's it. After what he did, bringing down a player that's done so well for Man United over this last couple of years, right? Last year, should I say. And was openly wanted by Real Madrid. Real Madrid were going to sack their scouts for not signing Yoro. Good morning, Darren. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Our club morale is just so low that good players are struggle here. It's a culture, Darren. And until we remove the culture, this is why I was so eager to remove the toxic players at this football club that have over and over again witnessed failure. Serial failures. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is why the morale is low. And if you can't lift yourself up, if you can't get yourself going, let me tell you a little story about Manchester United. People died for this football club. They died for this football club in 1958. The Munich disaster, God rest their souls. They died for this football club. For you to be, my morale is low. I feel sad because the referee gave me a little nudge on my shoulder. What the F is going on at this football club? Flipping. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it. Look, let me tell you, Manchester United. Manchester United lost a lot of their players, right? In the Munich disaster. 3 years later, they won the league. 1968, they won the European Cup and the first English Cup to do so. And we're worried about, the tactics. I got a little nudge in the back. What the hell? I'm like this. I've seen Cantona. I've seen Hughes, Ince. You know, I seen Beckham at the World Cup. You know, basically the whole country was against David Beckham. You know, with the mannequins hanging from the train lines, from the tunnels and things like that, and still come back and win the treble. There's no excuses for these players, and I'm tired of these players getting a free ride. I'm tired of it because everyone's going to criticize Ruben Amorim. Everyone's going to go in Ruben Amorim. That's the simple thing to do. It's a simple thing to do. Go in on Ruben Amorim. Let's do that. That's fine. Do that. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. Do that. That's what everyone does anyway. But do not give these players a free ride. Do not give that ball a free ride because they're doing exactly. You're falling right into their hands. You know. Big up, Darren. Big up, my friend. Sure has been 7 managers left that sinking, and exactly 7 managers he sacked. Don't you think that one of the main things that Man United should have done, they should have done this. We need to get rid of Luke Shaw. Why do we need to get rid of Luke Shaw? Because Luke Shaw sacked 7 managers. It's going to be 8. Okay. Oh, because I don't trust that player. Right? He's not won anything major. And I don't trust that player. So I want him at the football club. And because I'm afraid he's going to turn against me. And that's what they should have done with Luke Shaw. Now, guys, in regards to transfer news, obviously Man United were interested in Elliot Anderson. Of course, Nottingham Forest has slapped a 70 million price tag on Elliot Anderson. Of course, very, very highly rated. And Ineos are huge admirers of Elliot Anderson. I like the player. Absolutely smashed it for England the other day, of course. Brilliant from Elliot Anderson. Felt like he's been playing there for years. A very capable player, guys. A very good player. He has a 70 million price tag on his head. Now, that was kind of expected, in my opinion. I knew that would happen in regards to Elliot Anderson because I know that, you know, he's an English player, the English tax, playing in the Premier League, the experience and stuff like that. So would I like Elliot Anderson? Absolutely, I would like Elliot Anderson. But before Elliot Anderson, I would like Belabor at his football club. I've got a number of midfielders. Manchester United obviously have narrowed down their search in regards to the midfielder. Adam Wharton, Belabor and Elliot Anderson at the moment are the 3 players that they want. Rumour is that they are very high on Premier League experience. That's what we're looking for at the moment. Premier League experience, guys. Big up, we've at 7. D, what's going on? Honestly, no one is pointing out that without the own wing-backs and midfielders, we are not going to play in Ruben's system properly. Any good result we can get out of the current squad is a wonder. D, and this is exactly what we've been talking about for many, many weeks, D. This is why I gave Ineos a 5 out of 10. We didn't concentrate on the wing-backs. No, we didn't. Everyone could see that we needed a Carfu, a Frimpong, a Roberto Carlos type player playing in this system. That's what Man United need. You know? We've got actual wingers. Right midfielders playing wing back. This system will work if we have the players in it. And it's exactly what Ruben Amorim said. We need the players in the system. We need the players in the system for it to work. And we haven't done that yet. Now, Ruben Amorim gets sacked, right? Ruben Amorim gets sacked. And then we got all those players there. We're going to remove it up and do another system. And here we go again. You know? You're absolutely right, D. Bruno, Mount, Cunha, and Bremo, Mainu, all number 10s. Casemiro, Mainu's a number 8. Ugarte is a holding midfield. He's a number 6. Was so disastrous not to find or balance in the transfer window. And who do you blame for that? Ruben Amorim. We needed a strike force. We needed 2 number 10s and a striker. We needed that. But it's down to Ineos not to fix the midfield. It's down to Ineos not to fix the wing back. It's down to Ineos not to buy a goalkeeper, an experienced one, if they're not going to play Senny Lamens. You know? We've at 7. The press is having a field day with our collapse and possible sacking. I hate it. Same shit every day. I mean, and we're going to have this again and again and again. We've at 7. Again and again. This is going to happen again. Don't worry about it. This is going to happen again. We're going to be in this position again in 1 year. You know? I think Bruno doesn't want to be there, or I think he's bigger than a manager. If Bruno thinks he's bigger than a manager, Bruno needs to go. That's it. And despite being Portuguese, Ruben Amorim needs to do his thing, and he needs to say, look, I need all these players that have been there, sacking various managers to go, please. You know, and that's what he should do. Maybe January, who knows. Big up, Grayo. What's going on, my friend? 20 likes, guys. Come on, guys. We need to get the likes up, guys. There's 17 of you in the house, guys. Please, could you kindly, please subscribe and smash a like on the video, guys. If you guys can do that for me, be absolutely splendid. Thank you, guys. Absolutely. The players today don't understand the scale of the derby anymore. They're like zombies, no passion, desire, quality. Did you hear the news about, I don't know who it was, but slapped hands with Dogu when he went off? Doku. So one of the Man United players, when Doku was coming off for Man City, slapped hands with Doku. What? This is what we're talking about. Roy Keane was right. Roy Keane is right. Roy Keane was right about Bruno. Roy Keane was right about Bruno. And I knew Roy Keane was right about Bruno. Roy Keane said it there. And he's going to repeat himself. Roy Keane has been proven right. He's been proven right about slapping hands. And we said it before the game. We said it before the game against Man City. Why are they hugging in the tunnel? Why are they hugging in the tunnel? And they were hugging in the tunnel. This is a Manchester derby. I remember Gary Neville and Schmeichel standing side by side because Schmeichel played for Man City. And then Gary Neville, Schmeichel went to slap hands with Gary Neville. And Gary Neville was like, nah, that is what it should be. You know? They also look a bit nervous. Yeah. They are soft, Revert 7. Sal, do you do watch along today? I'll think about it. Keep your notifications on, guys, in case I do a watch along. Absolutely. Revert 7, they are soft, absolutely. Nice you were at the 1990 Cup final and replay, Sal. No. Yes, sorry, Revert 7. I was at both of them, but what a time. I was a child. I was only 8, going on 9, and I was with my dad. And all I remember is Ian Wright, and yeah, and I remember that. I remember the game well. Yeah, great 3-3 draw as well. Time has gone so quickly, and you know, it was the culmination of believing and not giving up and being patient. You know, and that was just the beginning. Of course, it's only the FA Cup, but that was just the beginning. You know, and great times. Mark, I support Man United to say Lou Macari and Greenhoff were the players I love to play. To see have Bruno as a captain for upsets me. Mark, it upsets me as well. He's not a captain. And I would argue, guys, Bruno Fernandes is Manchester United's worst ever captain. I would argue with anyone that point. He is Manchester United's worst ever captain. Why is he Manchester United's worst ever captain? Because he blames people. Because he throws his arms around. Because he can't take accountability for his own actions. Because he goes to the media and starts talking about a 19, 20-year-old who's been one of our best players this season, Lenny Yoro. That's why he's one of the worst captains we've ever had. We could throw all the stats out there about heat maps, assists and goals. But just like when Liverpool removed Coutinho, sometimes, despite the stats, despite all that GX and all these things, right? Removing one player can actually have a positive impact on the whole team, even if the stats of that player are brilliant. The stats on that player are brilliant because he takes it upon himself and he does everything himself and he's not a team player. We don't want to see Bruno Fernandes as a left back, leaving Ugarte or Casemiro isolated in the midfield, so he's left with 3 against 1 from the opposition. We don't want to see that. He needs to take accountability for himself. He needs to be disciplined for himself. And if he has a problem with a player, go behind the scenes and say, Lenny, what was you doing there, mate? You know, don't go into the media, just like Garnacho, who was punished for it, and start talking your smack. Because that is not what we do at Manchester United. Absolutely not. Mark, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Luke Shaw has proven with manipulate when he plays to the England side and Manchester United is secondary. He must be thrown out. And let me tell you something, Mark. Let me tell you something. You're absolutely right, mate. Let me tell you something. Why is Luke Shaw all of a sudden so fit for every game? Why is he fit again? He's fit for every game this season. Again. Why? You know, that's strange, isn't it? Could it be because there's a World Cup coming up? You know, Well, he's not performing well for the World Cup. He's definitely not going to get in this England team because Aidan Heaven should be playing for Manchester United, and Aidan Heaven should be the one who's vying for a World Cup spot, not bloody Luke Shaw. Aidan Heaven is a better player now than Luke Shaw, and he should be playing in that left-sided centre-back, not Luke Shaw. Percival, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Good to see you again. I was pissed, so pissed when I heard Bruno blaming Lenny Yoro for the first goal, but Bruno was at fault. He didn't trap Foden. Bruno gave away the corner, wasn't it, against Arsenal, didn't he? Bruno missed a penalty because he got shoved in the back against Fulham, right? Didn't he? Bruno lost his man against Man City. Yeah, there you go. You know, so he needs to look at himself rather than throwing a young kid under the bus. And I'm tired of these players, him especially, because he cost us a Champions League place. He gave away the ball in the Europa League final. And I'm not just blaming obviously Bruno, but Bruno's the one who wants to come out in the media and he wants to throw players under the bus. And this is what I'm talking about. Throwing players under the bus, a young player under the bus. What's that going to do for the lad's confidence, eh? You know, is it going to have a good effect on him or bad effect? We all know, isn't it? It's the latter. You know, and this is what we're talking about. The culture, the mentality at this football club. We got petulant little children captaining Manchester United. And when the going gets tough, they want to point fingers and they want to blame. Instead of looking in the mirror as a collective and saying, we were simply not good enough. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. We have a team full of boys, not men. Absolutely. And one of the boys is the captain. It's the captain of this football team, you know? Absolutely. Revert 7. Where's the Robsons, Keane, Schmeichel, Zins and Vidic? They don't exist anymore. Simple answer, Revert 7. They don't exist anymore. We come from a generation of I want it now, impatient, lazy, delusional generation. That's where we come from. This is where it is now, right now. We don't have Nemanja Vidic-ish, like kind of players. We don't have Cristiano Ronaldo, who used to sweep the floors of the street of Portugal and Madeira. Right? We don't have them sort of players. We don't have players who used to work in supermarkets and things like that. We have players that have been pampered since they were born. You know? And this is the problem. This is why we don't get Schmeichel. You know, Schmeichel was a handball player. You know? He used to play handball. That's why he was so good at throwing. We don't have backlogs of stories of players these days. We have players, oh, look, he can run. Sign him up. That's what we have. You know, and we don't think about what are they like? What's their personalities like? What do they do for a living? Are they married? Do they have a girlfriend? We look at, he can run, he can kick a ball, and that's it. And that, we're not looking at it. You know, you mentioned names there, Robson. Robson would run through metal doors for Manchester United. Brian Robson, Captain Marvel, would run through metal doors for this great football club, you know? And such an underrated player. But Roy Keane as well. David Beckham would as well. Paul Scholes would as well. Vidic would. Pallister would. Bruce would. Owen would. Parker would. Wes Brown would. Andy Cole would. You know? And this is what we're talking about. One of the most important players, similarities with every single Manchester United team. And I'm even talking about the 80s with Ron Atkinson. I'm talking about the 80s, right? And the 90s. They would all run through brick walls. It just got better with Alex Ferguson. You know, 100% is a given. You don't even have to mention playing 100% for the badge, because that's a given. You don't have to mention it. That is on the DNA. You don't even have to say, oh, he gave 100%, he gives 100% for the football club. Is that what we become? That we celebrate players giving 100%? That should be a given. You are honored to play for this great football club. You are standing on the shoulders of giants at this football club. People have sacrificed themselves for your platform. You know, and this is what we're talking about, you know? Big up, Revert 7, great comment. Ahmad is simply not good enough. Big up, but Benny, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. James Scanlon in under 20 would be better option, in my opinion. And Benny, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of just bringing through some of those young players. If these players don't want to step up, Mantato, Scanlon, you know, Shea Lacey, Fletcher, Ibrahimov, Musa, bring them through. Bring them through. Come on down. Come on, because these players obviously don't want to. All of those players that I've mentioned should be on the bench, right? All of those players that I've just mentioned there should be on the bench. And look, what I would warn these players is just like what Alex Ferguson warned Mark Hughes, Paul Ince, Ryan Giggs, all these players, right? He said, these players, if you don't fix up in the youth, are going to take your spot. These players there are going to take your spot. That's what I would do. I would bring them all into the youth. I'd bring them all into the bench and say, remember, these players, they want to play for this football club. They want their opportunity. You better play or you're out. And slowly but surely, you start substituting these players on the pitch and start nurturing them on the pitch so that they get their experience and they get their strength and you know what I mean? And that's what we should do, honestly. Because at the end of the day, we hype up players, right, for having a little bit of pace. We hype up players for dancing on the wing. You know, that's what we do. We're hyping up players. We're hyping up dancers. That's what we're doing. You know, people who are so weak, they can't cross a ball. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, I've seen crosses. I've seen a dead ball, right, with David Beckham and a cross come in on a sixpence. Buff, straight on the head of Dwight York. You know? Absolutely. Mark, when Jose used to talk about football intelligence, I believe a lot of the modern footballers lack basic intelligence. Ahmad is an example in the final third. I do believe that, Mark. I think that's true. I think it's a good comment. And I wouldn't only say intelligence. I also say that that they are greedy and selfish, some of them. That was ultimately what Garnacho's problem was, very selfish. When it comes to a time to cross the ball, you cross the ball. And when you do cross the ball, you don't blast it 1,000 miles an hour on the floor so that Mbeumo can't control his foot to get it into the tap-in. You know, and this is what we're talking about. And people think I'm going in on Ahmad. I went in on Garnacho. I went in on all those players. I'm talking about, I've spoken about Bruno today. Spoken about a lot of players today, you know. For me, he's a substitute at the very best. And I would honestly, if I was Ruben Amorim, I'd do what we've been talking about. I'd bring in some of those younger players. I would. Shea Lacey is technically better than Ahmad. Scanlon, technically better. We'll give 100%. You know, I'm tired of these players who, you know what, think they've already made it. Because they haven't. They've not made it yet at Man United. You know, just because you signed your contract doesn't mean you've made it at Man United. This is just the beginning. Now is your time to prove what you are. You know what I mean? Big up, Mark. Revert saying, Maguire, for example, is a big respect, but he's not top quality. Ahmad has quality, but he plays like a little boy. Every single player has the ability to change their own destination. They have the ability to change the scenario for themselves. They have the ability to make themselves into legends. But it's up to them. It's how hard they want to work for it. Will they stay behind at training, practicing? Would Ahmad stay behind that training like Beckham used to do and practice his crossing and free kicks? Beckham used to cross the ball, cross the ball, cross the ball. Even though he was almost perfect at it, he would still practice and practice. Cantona, arguably Man United's best ever player, legendary player, right? Arguably, right? Would have got stay behind in training and practice. Do you think these players do it? No, but you know why? Because they're scared of going home in the dark. They're scared of going home in the dark. I'm scared of going home in the dark. And that is why. This is what I'm talking about. The culture. I think Bruno will start. If he starts as a number 10, I'm not bothered. But if he starts as number 8, I'm going to be pissed. Absolutely, Revert 7. Absolutely. Amorim won't drop him. He should, after what he did with Euro. I'll be surprised. Big up, Revert 7. UK Darren, good morning. How you doing? I would love United to hire Roy Keane for the season to be the dressing room for every game. I mean, Darren, I've been saying it as well for a long time. I would love Roy Keane at that football club at some capacity. I would love it. I would love him in that dressing room. I would love him in the training field. Oh, boy, that would be so good. They will get a rollicking, mate. You know, because some things, like Ruben Amorim's strict, right? Ruben Amorim's strict, but Ruben Amorim's Portuguese. Roy Keane, where Roy Keane comes from, right? It comes from Cork, doesn't it? He comes from a working class. Roy Keane knows standards. He wasn't given it on a silver spoon. You know, I would love Roy Keane at this football club in some capacity. I would love it. It'd be amazing. These players won't know what hit them. You know, they can dance all they want on the wing. Someone should give them a hard crunching tackle. That's what they need to do. One big, hard crunching tackle. Welcome to Manchester United. You know? Darren, big up, Darren, big up. Absolutely. Visha, hey everyone, big up Visha, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope all are healthy, very well, thank you, brother. I don't know if you're a brother, I would say. Whenever the manager implements a certain style of play, players seem confused and underperform, whatever manager it is, absolutely. The best teams were under Ole, and why do you think that is, Vishwa? Because they know that that manager is not going to be there forever. They feed off vibes. Right? Mates rates. You're my mate. We're friends. We're only here for a short time. You know what I mean? And that's what that's the mentality. That's why these players seem to pick it up under Ruben Amorim. And look, you said it there. One of our best ever times was the start of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure and Ruben Amorim's tenure. But what happened when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got given a contract? Did we not get slapped up by Everton 4-0? That's what we're talking about. These players, when the going gets tough, they're like, they go hiding. They don't want to know. They go hiding. This is what happens. Every time it happens. The same thing. You know? Don Bro, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning. I know European football should be hurting us. Absolutely. These players and driving them to putting Man United where we belong. I don't get their lack of ambition. They don't care, Dan. They don't care, bruv. They don't care about this football club. They don't care about winning trophies. Back when I was growing up, we know these players wanted to win the league again and again. And when we lost the league in 1995, and whenever it was, we felt it. And we were determined to go the next season and win that league. Well, by hook or by crook, we're going to win that league. These days, people don't care about success. It's just like Eminem says, I slap you with your runner-up trophy. Because that's exactly what it is. You know, a runner-up, best loser. And that's, you know, we're celebrating that these days. Man United never used to celebrate that. We almost cried when we lost the league in 1995 and came second. When we lost the league in 1998 and came second. You know, and this is what we're talking about. These players don't care about success. They care about their own fortunes. They care about their own families. They care about their cars and their houses. Man United are way, way, way down the list. It's a bit like, who cares what they think? They're just the fans. Who cares? You know, they're just the fans. I don't really, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Guys, let me just read through. Big up, Ahmad. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're good. Good to see you. Big up, Gary. What's going on, my friend? What's up, Sal? Good to see you too, my friend Gary. Good to see you, of course. But guys, thank you everyone for joining me today. Really, really appreciate you. Good morning, Ellen. Hope you're doing well. Good to see the legends back in the house. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back later on, guys. So keep your keep your notifications on when I go live, guys. It's very important, guys. And enjoy the day wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I will see you later for Chatterbox, guys. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Have a great day. And guys, I'm doing the match preview for Chelsea on Thursday. Obviously, we got the match against Chelsea on Saturday. But keep your notifications on in case I go live for any games. I might do a couple of watch-alongs. Who knows, guys? But enjoy your day, and I'll see you later on for Chatterbox. Take it easy, guys. Peace.